We are back at Messer Field here for game 2 of 2 in the Saturday doubleheader. Right here on a beautiful sunny day after the Falcons take game 1 8-0. We've got another one starting up here for you as we've got Dittmar stepping up to the plate. Kevin, take us through kind of what happened last game.
Yeah, so last game, a lot of costly Bronco errors early, put the Broncos in a hole, allowed BG to execute, and then BG just exploded with 3 home runs in the third inning. A huge inning for BG. Crowd was celebrating, crowd was getting into it. So actually run ruled the Broncos, finishing 8-0 after 5. So great first game for the Falcons.
We are underway here at game 2. Sydney Marshall sends in a strike to Riley Dittmar, who moves into the leadoff spot for Western Michigan. The rest of their lineup looks like this. Tristan Head, right fielder, will be in second. Jordan Smith moves up to the third spot. Jader Merrill at the DH spot moves into the cleanup spot. Peyton Kelly moves down to fifth, playing center field. And then Annalise Niles, Michaela Booth, Riley Chumbly, and Caitlin Teig round out the lineup for the Broncos. The lineup is completely the same for Bowling Green as it was in game 1, outside of Marshall starting at the starting pitching spot. That one's fouled out. It's going to stay 0-2 on Dittmar.
And in that first game, Dittmar had 2 at-bats, 0 hits, though. So looking to build on hopefully getting a hit here at this at-bat.
Dittmar almost a 400 hitter. Rare hit this game in game 1. That one's hit well to shortstop. Kaufman makes a great play, however.
Wow.
And that's a great way to get it started for the Falcons. Kaufman, her defensive presence has just been all over the place here in a good way for the Falcons.
Yeah, the last game she was making a bunch of plays, and then she had her first career homer in that third inning. Big play that really broke the scoring open for the Falcons.
Yeah, a little bit on freshman starting pitcher Sydney Marshall. Last time out, 2 innings pitched against Akron, 3 earned runs allowed, and 3 also unearned, so 6 total runs allowed in that outing. And the loss outing for that, however, 4 scoreless in a late game appearance against Ball State. And before that, she hasn't pitched since March 8th. So not a lot of action for Sydney Marshall so far in MAC play. Only her 3rd appearance against a conference opponent.
Yeah, but she'll be looking to build her presence. I mean, still a freshman, so still learning the ropes at the college level, but definitely looking to add a win to her resume today.
0-2 grounded foul. All strikes so far from Marshall as we're nearly 2 batters in. Tristan Head, right fielder, junior, hitting .342 on the year, up for Western Michigan.
Yeah, and Marshall currently has 1 win, 3 losses, 7.09 ERA. So not great numbers. Going to be looking to improve those today.
Gets the strikeout there on the swing and a miss from Tristan Head. Nice pitch. Got her on the low and outside. Looked like a fastball there, so it'll be 2 out. Great start for Marshall.
Yeah, that is indeed a great start for Marshall. And this is what you look for BG, getting ahead in innings, getting ahead in outs, just getting through innings. And this is something that the team did really well last game with just putting innings away.
Steps the catcher, Jordan Smith, 1 for 3 in game 1 with a double. And a hit by pitch as well. Fouls that one back for strike 1.
Yeah, and just being out and about between these games, I got up, got some air, got a drink, but the vibes here are just immaculate. People were happy. Oh.
Going grounded shortly to Marshall,
play.
And she will be able to make the play. Close call at first, but goes the way of the Falcons, and Sydney Marshall gets out of the first inning very quickly, similarly to game 1. But we're going to stick right here and talk a little bit about what's coming up here in this game. Your lineup for the Bowling Green Falcons mentioned stays the same as it was in game 1. Taylor Barrett leads it off at first. Addie Martin in the second position. Hannah Hunt at third. Cameron Kaufman will be playing short in the cleanup spot. And then Scarlett Anderson, Ava McKee, Kendall Matthews, Hannah Massaro, and Peyton Steffes rounds out the lineup.
Yeah, and this is an interesting game. As we established before the first game for our new listeners here, Western Michigan is 7th in the MAC standings. BG is 8th. And so this is a big series. If BG can take this series with a win here, potentially moving ahead of Western Michigan, getting closer to that playoff spot for the MAC tournament.
Yeah, 6 teams make it in to the MAC tournament. Bowling Green currently 7th in the MAC after beating Western. Western still at 5-8. Bowling Green getting their 6th win now at 6-9. So still 2 games out of that MAC softball tournament spot, but still a long way to go in this season. Bowling Green has a doubleheader coming up on Tuesday, March 15th against the Ohio Bobcats. That one's going to be interesting for a couple of reasons. Ohio 2nd in the MAC, 9-2 on your 26-10 overall, but also the weather is going to be pretty fun for that one. Wind gusts projected to be over 40 miles an hour here at Meserve Field, so it'll be interesting fielding conditions. You might expect a lot of errors in that one, similarly to what we saw here in Game 1 with Western Michigan.
Yeah, definitely. And wind can be a great equalizer. You know, if the wind is blowing in the wrong direction, your power hitters can basically have all the power taken out of them with those balls getting caught by the wind. So it'll be interesting to see how weather impacts that game.
Starting pitcher for Western Michigan, Kaylee Sawyer. Bowling Green fans very familiar. Sawyer has 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run on Friday. Western Michigan going back to their trusty pitcher who gave them a good outing on Friday. They'll be looking for much of the same here in Game 2 after Bronco pitching struggled in Game 1.
Yeah, the pitching in Game 1 was definitely a struggle. I feel like O'Connell, their first pitcher, she played well but just didn't have the support of the defense. And then when the defense clicked, the pitching wasn't good, so they couldn't get things going at the same time.
That one's looped into right field, but the play will be made. Barrett sent that one to Tristan Head. Head catches the line drive, and so 1 out.
Yeah, and Tristan Head, she did pretty well in the past game. 2 at-bats, 1 hit. She'll be looking to make plays on both sides of the ball in this game.
Addie Martin steps up. Reached on an error in Game 1, but she was hitless overall. That one's fouled sky high past the Western Michigan dugout for strike 1.
And Addie Martin, I think I already talked about the pink gloves, but they're really growing on me. They really pop against the orange uniform.
Yeah, that's a signature for Addie. Been doing that all year. I was like it when players make themselves pop with that equipment. That one's going to be
line drive
right up the middle. Ground ball gets past Sawyer, the pitcher, and Addie Martin, after going hitless in Game 1, gets on the board quickly here.
And I love Addie Martin's confidence. She thought about going for second. I could tell she thought about it, but then sort of reconsidered. But you got to love that spunk and that confidence that she brings.
Next up, here's second baseman number 2.
Yeah, extended hit streak all the way from March 15th until April 5th. Ended in Game 2 against NIU, but she's been the offensive powerhouse that's been so consistent for the Falcons. Another hitter has been outstandingly consistent. Hannah Hunt, the junior, hitting .352 on the year.
Yeah, Hannah Hunt has been successful, and so she's going to be looking to continue the offensive success that Bowling Green had in Game 1 here today.
0-1 from Sawyer. It's going to be high and outside for ball 1. Western Michigan doesn't want to give up any early runs here to these Falcons who stepped on the Broncos early on in Game 1, put up 2 in the first inning.
Yeah, definitely. They're going to be looking to avoid that outcome.
Just 1-1. That one's lined into center field. It's going to be a run for Kelly, and she's not going to be able to get there. Hunt is going to round first and head to second, and Addie Martin will score on the RBI double from Hannah Hunt. So the Falcons go up 1-0 early on.
Wow, that was a great... Addie Martin's just so fast. Once she gets moving in open space, very hard to make a play on her.
Yeah, Kelly had to get moving on that ball. That kind of curved out away from her, and Hannah Hunt gets her 26th RBI on the season. That's second most on the team behind only Addie Martin,
who basically leads every statistical category.
Right. Number 12, Cameron Kaufman.
Cameron Kaufman steps up, hit her first home run of the season and only her 5th game back from injury. It's nearly 3 weeks due to an injury. Sidelined her from her normal shortstop position, been back and has immediately had her presence felt both on the defensive and offensive sides of the ball.
Yeah, and we were talking in game one about her building up that offensive production. She certainly did it in that last game with that home run. Hopefully she can expand on that here in game two.
2-0 is the count. Sawyer already given up as many runs as she gave up in 7 innings on Friday.
Yeah, she has that ERA of 5.83, which could be better. She also has a record of 1 win and 7 losses.
And not a great year. All things considered, 5.28 ERA, like you mentioned, 174 WHIP. Freshman pitcher out of Proctorville, Ohio. Attended Fairland High School. She's down 3-0 to Kaufman.
I don't think I know Proctorville. Not sure where that is.
Small town, Ohio. That one's going to be low and inside for ball 4. Kaufman didn't get anything to swing at. 4 straight balls. So runners on first and second with 1 out, and up steps Scarlett Anderson.
Hey, with how Scarlett Anderson was slugging it this last game, I have nothing to complain about. I mean, if she could send one deep, get one of these runners home, that would be a great development for BG.
Number 34, Scarlett Anderson.
Making her 3rd start at the plate of the year. That one's in there for strike 1, right down the middle.
Just the energy of this crowd you gotta love. I mean, people are excited. You can hear the crowd noise between each pitch. Just the support here for BG is infectious.
Steal 1. One's low and inside, gets away a little bit from Smith, but Hunt will stay at second. Yeah, I mean, stands are full. Right, it's hard to find an empty seat here at the Messer Field stands, and then see down the left field and right field lines as well are pretty busy. So great crowd. I think the weather helps that out a little bit. Nice, beautiful day. That's been pretty rare here early on in the spring in Bowling Green.
Yeah, I don't think you can even call it spring with how it's been, just with the coldness and the wind. But today is shaping up to be a good day. I mean, right now here we are, 1 out in the second inning here, and great, beautiful day.
Here's the 2-1 to Anderson. That one's fouled out. Strike 2. 2-2 the count. Anderson putting up another good at bat. Mentioned her first home run of the season, or last game against Western Michigan. Anderson hasn't gotten a lot of play here in the lineup. She's been mostly a pitcher for this squad.
Yeah, but how about this stat line? 11 at bats, 1 run, 1 homer. Her 1 run being that home run.
That's going to be grounded. Sag at short. She's going to go to second, get the out there, and go to first and get the double play. 6-4-3 Western Michigan puts down the Falcons after they earn 1 in the bottom of the first. Your score going in the second, Bowling Green 1, Western Michigan 0. You're listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
It's time now to get a look at what's happening around the BGSU campus. On Tuesday, April 22nd, the Senior Toast Celebration takes place in the Lenhart Grand Ballroom. This is an event to celebrate Falcon graduates. Doors open at 5:15 and the toast starts at 6. Also coming up for seniors later on this month, it's the Alumni Mug Pickup. Graduates need to complete a survey that will be emailed to them in order to receive the mug. Pickup will take place at multiple events and locations throughout Senior Week. And coming up on April 23rd for all students, it's the Sunset Movie at the Doit. The fan-selected movie will start at 8 p.m. with pizza and games starting at 7. For a full list of events, visit events.bgsu.edu. I'm Nate. That's a look at what's happening around campus on Falcon Radio.
Welcome back to Messer Field. Sydney Marshall takes the circle for the second inning here after putting down the Broncos 1-2-3 in the first. It'll be Jalen Merrill who leads off for the Broncos.
Yeah, and Jaden Merrill has a 257 average on the season, 29 games played, 26 starts. She's been good for the Broncos.
Peyton Kelly, the senior, led off in game 1. Now she sits in the 5-hole waiting on deck. That's going to be grounded past Anderson right to Kaufman at short. She's going to have to make the play quickly, and that one's an errant throw past Barron at first. So I'm not sure if he would have gotten Merrill at first anyway. That was going to be a close play.
Yeah, a little too much dip on that chip, as they say.
Had to rush the throw, and as a result, just a little bit too far to the right for Barrett to handle. That's going to be one on and nobody out. And they're going to charge Kaufman on an error, and looks like we're going to have a pinch runner. Merrill is going to come out.
Pinch running, this is number 1,
Taylor Wolf, the senior, is pinch running for Merrill.
And that's interesting when they put in a pinch runner. You know the pinch runner is going to have speed. You know they're going to be able to advance around the bases, and so your goal is to not let the ball get in play.
Well, going to be attempted to be laid down by Kelly. It's going to be foul, so strike one. So Merrill, that may have been a hit and run. Merrill was going on that Wolf was going on that right away. Pinch runner Taylor Wolf out of New Baltimore, Michigan. Attended Anchor Bay High School. 160 career games with the Broncos.
Wow. That's great to see commitment, in the age of the transfer portal when nobody really sticks anywhere for too long. It's good to see that level of commitment to one team.
Runner out at first. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but runner is no longer there. That was going to be lined right to Hannah Hunt at second base, and Kelly is retired. I'll have to be interested to see what happened there to the runner, Wolf.
Yeah, that was a little sleight of hand. That's kind of bizarre what happened there.
Niles steps up. Ellie's Niles, second baseman, sophomore.
And Niles has been batting .375 on the season, which is actually incredible. Second highest on the team. She's been very, very good for the Broncos.
Yeah, been very good in a very small sample size. Barely under 20 at-bats so far this season. 15 games played, only her fourth start of the season.
It's interesting to see how teams tweak their rosters in these final weeks of the season leading up to May and that MAC tournament.
Swing and a miss, strike two. After Marshall gets Niles to chase.
The infield celebrating that play.
There's the 1-2 from Marshall. That one's fouled back. Marshall hasn't thrown a scoreless inning since her outing against Ball State here at Messer Field only a couple weeks ago.
She'll be looking to do that again, I'm sure. You can see the tennis field. Some people are out there enjoying the day.
Niles showing a bunt, but not really fooling any of the Falcon infielders as 2 outs. Up as she pulls it back and fouls that one out over the right field fence.
Yeah, and if I had to use one term for this Falcon infield, it would be disciplined. This has been a disciplined infield, not really getting out of their gaps, being focused, and making routine plays.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Niles goes down swinging, and Sydney Marshall gets out of the first 2 innings without too much trouble. Only one runner on base, left on base here in this inning. Your score is 1-0. Bowling Green leads Western Michigan. You're listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
Since the moment you were born, I've made 1,000 wishes. Wishes for your future in a world that's changing fast. Do play and laugh. Do win and lose. Do it all with confidence, kindness, and strength. And always do your best to remember that no matter what you do in this life, what matters to me is that you keep doing. Inspire kids to do at 4h.org.
BGSU Baseball will be in Fort Wayne to take on the Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodons on April 15th. Join Falcon Media Sports Network Tower Cablets and Kevin Hutchinson starting at 3 p.m. to hear the call on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Falcons lead Western Michigan 1-0 as we reach the bottom of the second here in game 2 of 2 in a Saturday doubleheader at Messer Field. Ava McKee will step up, followed by Kendall Matthews on deck and Hannah Massaro in the hole. Falcons scored 1 in the first, courtesy of single by Eddie Martin, then line drive double by Hannah Hunt that scored Martin from second.
Yeah, that was a great inning there for the Falcons, and now we're in the bottom of the second here, looking to add on to that success.
McKee, the freshman catcher, takes ball 1. Here's the 1-0. That one's lined to Tig at short. She makes the play and makes the throw to first. Nice throw and gets McKee out with some time to spare.
Yeah, McKee never had a chance on that one. I mean, the ball was just positioned so that the defender was able to make the play expertly. And this is a bit more of a stalemate game. You have both these teams locked in evenly, one of them hoping to break something open.
Yeah, Falcons seemed to have settled in, or Bronco defense, seemed to have settled in this game after a shaky start defensively in game 1. Didn't commit any errors in the last couple innings of game 1, and now clean so far in game 2.
Yeah, and this is once again a beautiful, beautiful day for softball, but this is a big series for both teams, and something tells me this game is going to come down to the wire.
Here's the 1-0. Oh, and high and outside. Matthews takes ball 2.
And Matthews batting .231 on the season.
Here's the 2-0. That one's in there for strike 1. Matthews just kind of taking there. Kendall hit her 3rd home run of the season last game. A sky-high shot over the left field fence. Put the Falcons up 7 in the 4th inning of third inning, of that game.
Yeah, Henry, that was a beautiful homer last game, and she has 15 RBI, so she's able to. There are no runners on base right now, but she's able to score them when she can.
Takes strike 2. Western Michigan bench really trying to get into it here. Give Sawyer some motivation. Obviously down 1-0 early on, but game is still young. That one looped.
Oh.
Is it going to get into center field? Tig is going to be able to run over and make the play. A little weak looper that just barely eclipsed the outfield.
Yeah, and that was a play where Tig really stepped in and executed there. I mean, that would have hit the ground, but she made the play. And you do see this is a defense that's tightening up, playing with more discipline, and definitely playing with more composure.
Center fielder, freshman Hannah Massaro steps up. Worcester native, attended Triway High School. 5'9", one of the tallest players on BG. Only players taller, Mackenzie Krafchick and Maddie Young, who both stand 5'10".
Huh. Yeah, that's some height for sure.
That one's going to be in there. First strike 2. Massaro down in the count. Yeah, and Sawyer has some serious velocity. Saw that on that outside fastball. And when she's able to hit those locations like she was on Friday, she can be a real deadly pitcher when she gets into rhythm. Swing and a miss. Massaro not able to get contact on that one, and Sawyer is settling in with a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom half of the second. We'll step aside. We'll be back for the top of the third. You're listening to Saturday Softball on Falcon Radio.
This past weekend, BG women's golf team won the BG-hosted Dolores Black Falcon Invitational at Stone Ridge Golf Club. The squad finished with a team score of 18 over par, which was 17 strokes better than the second-place squad of Central Michigan. This is the first time this squad has placed first in a tournament this season and marks the Falcons' first win in the Dolores Invitational since 2022. Sammy Dulce, Ava O'Sullivan, and Macy Elzinga all finished in the top 10 for the Orange and Brown, with Dulce placing second, O'Sullivan in fourth, and Elzinga in sixth. Next up, the Falcons take on Toledo in a battle of I-75. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
Michaela Booth will lead it off for the Broncos in the top of the third. Sydney Marshall holding on to a 1-0 lead for the Falcons. It's going to be outside for ball one.
Yeah, and Marshall's pitched efficiently so far. Only a freshman, but she's pitched well. It's interesting. Today is senior day, and there were 4 senior players honored before the game. Little interesting stat on them. All 4 of them have a cumulative GPA over 3.4, which is dominance in the classroom and on the field.
It's very impressive. These scholar athletes here in Division I work so hard both on the field and in the classroom. That one's lined into left field for a single. Kayla Booth gets it started for the Broncos.
That was a great play by Booth, just threading the needle out to left field. But, I mean, that's what Western Michigan is looking to do. Get runners on base, go through their process, and just avoid a runaway catastrophe like what they had last game.
Yeah, looking to get some runners on base early in the innings, which will be big for them. Good start here with the leadoff runner on first, bringing up Chumbley.
Yeah, and Chumbley has she's been successful this season. She has hit .213 from the plate, 30 games played, 25 games started, and 2 homers on the year.
Shows bunt but pulls back. Booth is going to second as that one gets away from McKee, and she will reach safely on the, I believe that will be registered as a pass ball. It will be a 1-1 count on Chumbley. Runner in scoring position now puts the double play out of the question now, Kevin.
Yeah, it does, and that is unfortunate for the BGSU defense, but hopefully just looking to get some stops here and finally get an out in this third inning.
Showing bunt again. Oh, and looks like it made contact with McKee, and Booth taking advantage again, moves to third, but it's going to be foul, so she will head back to second. McKee a little bit shaken up on the play.
Yeah, a little bit. As she, speaking of those seniors, Scarlett Anderson, who's in the batting lineup, is one of those seniors. She was an NFCA All-America Scholar athlete with a 3.41 cumulative GPA. Very impressive, just academic skill from these players.
And today's senior day here at Messer Field, honoring the 4 seniors on this roster: Winnie Reed, Ellie Price, Maddie Young, and Scarlett Anderson, who was in the lineup today. All these players are fantastic athletes, put in a ton of effort on and off the field. It's underrated how tough it can be to be a D1 athlete dealing with everyday practices and everyday classes that all students have to deal with. So credit goes to those players for their continued effort all 4 years of their schooling.
Yeah, it definitely breaks the stereotype, of athletes not taking school seriously. It's great to see people who are dedicated to all aspects of their BG experience, and really just an inspiration for all of us.
Yeah. Here's the 1-2 from Marshall. Dealing to Chumbley, junior from Floyd's Knobs, Indiana. Fouls that one back into the BG dugout.
I love all these town names, like Floyd's Knobs, like all these interesting little towns. You wonder, maybe I'm just a nerd, but I wonder about the history of all those town names and why they're called what they're called.
Yeah, I mean, all of them have their own histories. Even Bowling Green's naming has a pretty extensive history. That one's flown out into right field. Payne Steffes right under it. Booth thinking about tagging, but stays at second and makes the good choice there as that one's right into Kaufman. And 1 out here in the top of the third.
Yeah, and you see that spunkiness from Booth. I mean, every time she's at a base, she's thinking about advancing to the next one. Definitely some confidence as a base runner from her.
Here's Caitlin Teig hitting .298 on the year. 25 hits, 8 RBIs, looking to get her 9th this at-bat.
Yeah, and she's played 34 games, 34 starts.
Sydney Marshall looking good out there to start off this game, looking confident, but has just been putting balls in the strike zone, which is what you want to do, especially when you got this defense behind you playing like they've been playing lately.
Definitely. And I think that's BG's strength is the defense, the ability to make those plays in rhythm. Addie Martin obviously getting Cameron Kaufman back from injury was a big deal. And this defense is really just starting to click.
Martin moving back over to third. Her spot that she's the most comfortable with and the most efficient at, considering her cannon of an arm that really helps getting those runners out at first.
Yeah,
Third.
she might have been a quarterback in a past life. I mean, that arm, the way she slings the ball is really impressive.
Sydney Marshall slings that one outside. It's going to be a 2-2 count to Tig.
Marshall seems to like that outside to the right.
See if she goes back to the low and outside fastball. This time a little bit more in, but fouled out past the light pole this time, and it's going to be 2-2 once again.
It's interesting. This is a little bit random, but usually there are some geese out here. You're not seeing many geese today with it warming up and starting to dry out. Maybe they're going to cooler climates.
That one fouled back. And yeah, I haven't seen any goose here today. Goose are common occurrence here at BGSU's campus. Sophomore Kaylin Tig out of Edwardsburg, Michigan. Attended Edwardsburg High School. Swings and a miss. There, that one gets past McKee. Looks like she maybe got a tip on it and will stay alive.
And it's interesting. Everybody in the Western Michigan batting order has home runs on the season. Tyga has the least with just one, but still some impressive offensive firepower on this team.
Makes contact with a Hunt racing over past the foul line. That one was in foul play, but makes the play on the pop fly. So 2 outs. Sydney Marshall working through the Bronco lineup.
Yeah, Marshall is showing the maturity of somebody who's in her second or third year. I'm actually shocked that she's a freshman.
Yeah, her and Beckham both. The composure that they've shown as they've gained experience throughout the season has been impressive to see, and I'm sure Michelle Gardner, who really trusts in these freshmen to get the job done. Sydney Marshall has dealt with some injuries throughout the year that have kept her out for an extended period of time. But we saw her beginning of the year, her first outing against Monmouth at the Spartanburg Classic, 6 innings pitched of 1 earned run. I mentioned the scoreless outing of 4 innings against Ball State a couple weeks ago, so she's had some bright spots throughout the year.
Yeah, definitely, and that's promising when you have freshmen who are able to contribute, and that provides depth that you're able to build upon moving forward.
1-1 count. Back to the top of the lineup now for Ditmar. Ditmar lines that one to Hunt, who that one eats up Hunt there, and she's not able to get the ball there in time. Barrett's going to have to run back. Booth the third, and the throw a little errant. Not able to get Booth, who was scrambling back to the bag at third after thinking about going to home. And Ditmar moves to second as a result. So runners on second and third. That one could have been dangerous for the Falcons.
I turned into a fan in the stands on that play. That was a pulse-pounding play for sure.
Smart play by Barrett to just kind of run down Booth when she was stuck in the middle of the base pass there and not force a throw to either third or home.
And we got a meeting of the minds here on the mound. Michelle Gardner coming out to talk with her defense and try to sort things out.
Going to be an interesting situation here as we get towards the end of this inning. 2 outs, runners on second and third. All the Broncos need is to put the ball in play here, and they'll be at risk to score 2 with 2 runners in scoring position. It's going to be Tristan Head who's going to come up to hit.
Yeah, and Tristan Head, she is .342 batting average, 33 games played, 29 starts, 73 at-bats, and 25 hits. That's basically a 33% conversion rate on her hits. Very, very strong hitter and a lot of power.
Here's Head. Bowling Green registered with an error on the pass play. So 2 on the date on that one's grounded to Martin, who's just going to make the play to first, and no harm done after the error on Ditmar's at-bat. So Marshall gets out of the inning with no harm done. 3 scoreless now for the freshman. Your score is 1-0. Bowling Green leads Western Michigan. You're listening to Falcon Radio.
BG Authors is a campus organization dedicated to highlighting authors connected to the university. BGSU has produced some amazing authors, including Beth Macy, James Baldwin, and Tim Conway, to name a few. Visit bgauthors.com and subscribe to the blog that regularly updates on new releases, classics, non-BGSU authors, and other features such as book versus movie. That's BG Authors at bgauthors.com.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Welcome back to Messer Field. Bowling Green leads Western Michigan 1-0 as Payne Steffes will step up to the plate and then give it over to the top of the order, where Taylor Barron and Addie Martin will round out the bottom of the third.
Yeah, and Steffes, even though she's at the bottom of the batting order, 256 batting average, she's played in all 39 games and started all 39. She's a good player.
Yeah, good all-around player, solid at the plate, and then uses her speed for a lot of value on the base pass and defensively in the corners. She's playing at right field here today.
Yeah, and to show off her speed, she has 6 doubles on the year, able to advance the bases very quickly and effectively.
The 0-1 from Sawyer. That one's just outside on the off speed, so going to be a 1-1 count. Sawyer settled in the second inning, put the Falcons down in order after they put up 1 in the first. Looking to carry that momentum here into the third inning.
Yeah, and you wonder, oh.
That one's popped up. It's going to be Booth and Tig who compete for it, and Tig will come in and make the play on the little pop fly. Steffes is retired.
See, and that's the kind of play that would have been an error in the first game with how they were playing, but now they're learning to tighten up and make those effective plays. And the Falcons might have a 1-0 lead, but that doesn't really mean much right now with how this game is locked in tight.
Up steps Taylor Barron, who's was hitting up past 350 and 360 just a couple weeks ago, but she's had some struggles here in the past couple of weeks. Went hitless in the 4 games there between the NIU and the Akron series.
That's tough going hitless across a 4-game stretch because you start to doubt yourself. You start to have that lack of confidence.
That one's going to be, I'll say, but foul. Barrett will return after making it all the way past first base. 1-1 is the count.
And this is as we established, this is a very important game for the Falcons. We pulled ahead of Western Michigan, but if we're going to get into that MAC tournament conversation, this is a very, very crucial outing here.
Here's the 1-1. That one's fouled back by Barron. This team has had a lot of depth offensively. Just the problems at times have been getting all the players going at the same time. It's been Martin and Hunt who've been pretty much hot throughout the whole season, but players like Hutter, Steffes, Barron have just kind of been spotty. Barron's been consistent, especially in beginning of MAC play, but kind of struggled lately. Had a hit against Western Michigan on Friday, but 6 straight hitless games before that.
Yeah, and that's what, America's pastime, baseball, softball, that's what it's about. It's about momentum. It's about who has momentum at the right time. And you're right, you just want to get most of your roster hot toward the end of the season as you make the playoff push.
He's a 2-2. Barron putting up a good at-bat. That one's grounded to Tig at short, and she will make another play, sending it over.
Wow. Seems like the ball is always in Tig's hands. She has made a ton of plays at multiple spots for this Bronco defense.
Yeah, she's been all over the place. I'll say here and there in her vicinity.
And something I've noticed, I love the celebrations, like they'll do like a bow and arrow celebration or like a grenade celebration between good plays. Honestly, a lot of fun to see.
Having fun out there. That one's laced through the gap between shortstop and third base for Addie Martin, who gets on base with another single, her second hit of the game.
Wow. Addie Martin's speed. I mean, 1 minute I was looking at the ball going to left field, and then I look and she's already on base. Tons of speed from Addie Martin.
So runner on here with 2 outs. Hannah Hunt, who scored Martin in the first, looking to do the same here in the third.
Next up for the Falcons, this second
1-0.
baseman, number 2,
Bowling Green leads
Hannah
Western
Hunt.
Michigan. 3 hits for Bowling Green, already more than they had against Sawyer in all 7 innings of Game 1 on Friday.
And that's a good development. That's a good start.
That one's lined pretty much the exact replica of Martin's hit for Hunt. That one's lined through the gap between Tyga and Booth and into left field. So another single. Runners on first and second. That's going to bring up Kaufman.
And something I see with Addie Martin's base running, you have the aggression, but it's balanced with intelligence. Like, she's an aggressive base runner, but when she sees that there's no path, she goes back to the base she was on. So you see a good balance of aggression and discipline.
Falcons and shortstop number 12, Cameron Kaufman.
Kaufman walked in her first plate appearance in the first inning as umpire calls time, and Western Michigan head coach Marley Wilson is going to come out and talk things over with Sawyer.
And Sawyer's been playing well so far, only allowing 1 run, but this is a must-win for WMU as well. I mean, they really sort of blew that last game, hoping to recover and tighten things up on the defensive end.
Yeah, a loss in this one would put them 2 games behind the Falcons in the MAC standings, and assuming NIU gets a win in their game today, it would put them 3 games below them. Obviously, NIU currently holds the 6th seed in the MAC.
Yeah, and that's a tough spot when you're only the last team looking in on the playoff spot. It's tough mentally for your team because it's like you're almost there, but not quite.
Yeah, Ball State proved that seeding isn't, a big deal here in the MAC. They made it to the almost to the MAC championship there as the 6th seed. Ended up losing to Miami in the end, but still had a great run, and
yeah,
they're really building on it this year. It's going to be likely the 3 seed going into the MAC tournament this year, and with all the talent that they have in that team between Ella Whitney, the ace pitcher, and Michaela Timmons, who is probably the MAC Player of the Year contender and one of the best offensive players in the NCAA Division I.
Wow, and yeah, that is a unit over at Ball State. I mean, that is just all you have to do is get in to the playoffs, and then anything can happen. So
Kaufman takes ball 2, so Sawyer down 2-0 earlier in the count. Runners on first and second. Bowling Green leads Western 1-0. 2 outs in this inning.
yeah, how great was it to see Kaufman get that home run the last game?
Yeah, it was fantastic for her, who coming back from injury, struggled offensively in the NIU series, and has come in here and has immediately made a difference on Saturday.
Definitely.
Took ball 3 for 3-0. Broncos do have a base open, and with 2 outs, doesn't make too much of a difference. That's going to get in there for strike 1, right on the outside corner.
Yeah, that ball just hooked in there barely. That was a close call there.
Sawyer and the all-yellow uniforms for Western Michigan will send 3-1 in, and that one's going to be on the outside corner again. It's going to be a full count to Kaufman.
Maybe this shows that I'm just food motivated, but the Western Michigan uniforms make me think of a chocolate-covered banana. Great carnival food.
Yeah, reminiscent of the Savannah Bananas, all-yellow look. That one's going to be a strikeout for Kaufman, and that one will end the inning. Smith threw it over to third, but no one was there to receive it as the inning was over. Your score is 1-0 at the end of 3, and you're listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
BGSU Baseball freshman outfielder Carter Motice made his collegiate debut for the Orange and Brown on April 9th, earning the start against Youngstown State. Motice did not disappoint, going 2 for 4 at the plate with 2 doubles and 3 runs batted in. Motice, who is a star at Jackson High School in Massillon, Ohio, did not play in the first half of the season due to injuries. He helped the Falcons defeat the Penguins 17-5, sweeping the season series over Youngstown State. Overall, 9 freshmen have seen action for BGSU baseball this season. This has been 60 Seconds in Falcon Athletics.
Sydney Marshall steps into the circle for her 4th inning of work here in Game 2 of a Saturday doubleheader, where spirits are high for the Falcons with their 1-0 lead here in this game.
Yes, spirits are high, and just like those home run balls that were hit last game, those went high over the fence, hoping to reproduce that this game.
That one skied high by Smith and caught by Hannah Hunt in foul territory, so quickly 1 out for Sydney Marshall.
And this is where you see the team really playing together, and you can tell the vibes on the team are strong. You see players celebrating big plays, celebrating Marshall when she makes a big play. And it's really just positive to see that this team is playing so well together.
Steps Jaden Merrill, reached on an error, her first at-bat. And Taylor Wolf came in a pinch run for her, but because Merrill is the DP, she's allowed to come back and hit.
Yeah, and this is a interesting position. BG has not scored since the first inning, hoping to prevent Western Michigan's first score, what would be their first score.
It's in there for strike 1. Impressed with Sydney Marshall here early on in this game. 4 scoreless in the outing against Ball State, but that was a lot of you could say it was kind of garbage time innings because the Falcons were losing in a blowout against those Cardinals when Marshall came in. But those innings can be a confidence builder for a freshman, especially when you're doing it at your home stadium.
Hey, any experience you can get is a confidence builder. Just to be able to go out there on the mound, put some innings together. I think any time you get the chance to do that, your confidence is naturally going to grow.
Got ahead on the count on Merrill. 0-2. Here's the offering. That one's fouled back. Merrill will stay alive.
And that's the thing. Western Michigan just needs to stay alive in this game. Keep it close. I do have a feeling this is going to come down to the 7th inning.
Merrill, one of 2 Texans on this team in La Mesa High School. Allen's skied high. It's going to be Hannah Hunt who comes back, but Peyton Steffes will come in instead and make the play right on the edge of the outfield area, and 2 down for the Falcons.
And that was some great awareness by Hunt, making space for Steffes, recognizing that it was Steffes' ball. And you see this team making plays like that. Nobody's trying to be the hero. Everybody's just trying to contribute the best they can.
Good communication on that play. Steffes, in those situations where it's kind of middle ground in the outfield, the outfielder coming in on it always gets the better of hand there because they have the better view of the ball coming in as opposed to Hunt, who has to go back on it.
And also, Steffes is just so fast. I mean, you want her in that position anytime.
Allen skied up high in the air, but it will just get out of play. McKee was ready to get one right at the fence. Didn't have an opportunity.
Heard a nice thunk. I wonder what that ball hit over there. Probably the bleachers.
But any of the fans here, a full packed crowd here at Messer Field for this doubleheader against the Broncos. Fans have been showing up here for Michelle Gardner in this BGSU squad this year.
I think it's because people believe in what Gardner's doing.
Yeah, for sure. That one's hit into center field by Peyton Kelly. Ground ball gets through the middle for a single.
Yeah, and you see, sort of going back to the coming out for Michelle Gardner, I mean, you see it even when, like, Deion Sanders went to Colorado, the attendance there exploded. Like, you see when a good coach comes in and makes people believe, the fans are going to show up.
Yeah, this team made some noise even when they weren't playing here at Bowling Green. This team, obviously, in their game against Oklahoma, took them to extra innings in a game that would have been maybe one of the biggest upsets in BGSU athletics history, considering the Oklahoma Sooners are 4 straight NCAA national champions.
Wow. Back to back to back to back. That is absolutely incredible.
Here's the 1-0 to Niles. It's going to be outside for ball 2.
Yeah, and Niles is batting .375 on the season. She's been excellent for the Broncos.
Now as a sophomore, Cameron Park, California.
Ooh.
She lifts that one deep into left field, but a nice play by Kendall Matthews. Reaching out to snag that one right near the fence. Holds the Western Michigan scoreless through 4. Sydney Marshall putting up a fantastic outing here in this one. Bowling Green continues to lead Western Michigan 1-0, and you're listening to Saturday Softball on Falcon Radio.
Hey everybody, Rachel Ray here. Nothing brings a bigger smile to my face than cooking up a big meal for the whole family and lots of friends. But there's not enough room at my table for the 17 million kids in our country who struggle with hunger. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks collects surplus food to give hope to hungry kids. But they can't do it without your help. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
BGSU Baseball wraps up their weekend series against Western Michigan on Sunday, April 13th at 1:05 p.m. Falcon Media Sports Network's Tyler Kavlitz will have a recap of the game available on BG Falcon Media.
Welcome back to Messer Field. Kaylee Sawyer, the freshman pitcher for the Broncos, gets ready to throw another inning with Scarlett Anderson coming up to bat. The only senior in the lineup here for the Falcons on senior day. Umpires are making some roster changes right now as Anderson and McKee talk this over. Kevin, interesting game so far, kind of a contrary to what we saw in game 1. A lot of offense early on in game 1 and a lot of defense here in game 2.
Yeah, and you're seeing a Western Michigan defense that's settling in. 0 errors for WMU compared to 2 for Bowling Green as we enter the bottom of the 4th here. You know, this is the halfway point of the game. This is when something usually breaks open for either team.
Check swing goes into play for Anderson right to the second baseman for Western Michigan. Annalise Niles makes the play, and 1 down real quickly for the Broncos.
Yeah, this is a tight matchup here. And these are 2 teams that are pretty evenly matched. I think the Falcons are the slightly better team, but pretty even matchup here today.
Yeah, Western Michigan did make the MAC tournament last year, but did lose a decent amount. All-MAC second-team catcher Haley Boxwell, as well as their pitcher of the year, graduated last year, so they're trying to make up for those absences this year. Definitely lost a little bit in terms of star power.
Yeah, and that's tough. You know, coaches have to not only recruit new talent, but re-recruit the talent they already had due to the transfer portal, which is a tough situation for any coach.
And off-speed is in there for strike 1 against Ava McKee, who grounded out to shortstop in the 2nd inning.
That ball kind of defied the laws of physics a little bit, sort of hung in the air and then dipped down. Great strike.
Great contradiction between Sawyer's fastball, which has some good velocity on it, and that off-speed, which he really loves to place in the bottom of the zone. And what a diving play out there in right field. Tristan Head had to get down there to receive Ava McKee's fly ball and makes a fantastic play as they embrace out there in the outfield.
Wow.
Tristan Head
using her head on that play. That was a great diving catch. Wow. That was actually, I don't even have words. That was amazing.
Yeah, the junior outfielder trying to make up for Western Michigan's defensive performance today. Definitely making it happen there. What a play by the junior. So that's Kendall Matthews with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. She swings and misses at strike 1.
And Kendall Matthews, she was good in game 1. You know, she had a pretty solid performance. 2 at-bats, 1 run, 1 hit, 3 RBI. She was very successful last game.
That one's low and inside. Tried to off-speed there, but didn't get the call on Matthews, who has some great discipline there at the plate. Kind of one of those 3 true outcome hitters that you kind of talk about a lot in kind of professional baseball and softball, where it's strikeout, walk, or home run.
And that's what you want. Well,
3 home runs on the year for Matthews on 15 RBIs, and then 24 strikeouts and 18 walks. Those 18 walks are second most on the team, only trailing Taylor Barrett with 19.
wow. Yeah, that's one of those walks was added last game. She had 17 and then got a walk earlier today to make it 18.
She's also got her 3rd home run in game 1.
Seemed like everybody got a home run in game 1. I mean, that was an incredible 3rd inning.
4 runs in that 3rd inning, 2 solo home runs, and then a 2-run shot by Matthews. But the Falcons up 7-0, and they eventually went on to win 8-0 in 5.
Technically 4.5 because the bottom wasn't even played.
That's right, that one skied into center field, and play made by Peyton Kelly. Falcons scoreless again here in the bottom half of the 4th. Your score is 1-0 as Sydney Marshall comes out for another inning. You're listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
On November 15th, 2024, BGSU Hockey defeated St. Thomas in a shootout, courtesy of a game winner by defenseman Jack Blake. Falcon Media Sports Network's voice of Falcon Hockey, Ben Korak, had the call of the moment on WBGU 88.1 FM.
And Jack Blake, for all the glory, trying to put this one away with the puck, taking it around, far side wheel, working in with the shot, and he fills it! Jack Blake with the shootout winner! First time in the lineup this season, and Jack Blake is the hero as Bowling Green mobs him.
This has been a Falcon Media Sports Network featured call.
Michaela Booth leads off the top of the 5th for Western Michigan. She takes strike 1 from Sydney Marshall, who's looking to get her 5th scoreless inning of the day here in this one.
Yeah, and look, Marshall's pitched an efficient game. You know, she's been solid so far, holding the Broncos scoreless. Gonna look to continue that work today.
Sydney Marshall ERA just over 7 so far in 2025. Freshman pitcher out of Zanesville, Ohio, attended John Glenn High School down there in Licking County.
John Glenn was a great astronaut first. Was he? No, Shepard was the first American in space. I always mix them up, but Glenn was a great astronaut.
Here's Sydney Marshall, 2-1. Outside corner. It catches, and it's going to be 2-2. And Buzz Aldrin, another one of those great astronauts.
Yeah. Neil Armstrong
Neil
as well.
Armstrong.
Everybody seems to be from Ohio for some reason.
Here's the 2-2. That one's high and outside for ball 3.
And that's a tough situation to be in. You know, you're on ball 3. You sort of have to put it in the strike zone, and Booth knows that.
Marshall looking to get the leadoff hitter out and grounded right to her, but it's going to go to Kaufman instead. When she will make the play, had to get it to Barrett quickly at first and made it happen. I think a good decision by Marshall, kind of motioned toward it, but let it go towards Kaufman instead of attempting to pick it up.
Yeah, that was a bit of an odd play. For a second, I thought she made a mistake, but it was intentional, and it turned out to be the right decision.
Caleb Booth, not a lot of speed on the base pass. Kaufman taking advantage of that as she gets another one right to her ball, and that play will be made as Chumbley is retired, so 2 down after an extensive first at-bat. First pitch is an out to Chumbley.
Yeah, and here is Caitlin Tyga, or Tig, batting .293 on the season.
Yeah, pronounced Tig, as in tiger. Kind of odd spelling of the name, Tighe.
Yeah, that is an interesting spelling for sure.
Here's the 1-0 from Marshall to Tig.
She's from Edwardsburg, Michigan. Edwardsburg High School.
Home plate umpire Robert Barrett calls that one a strike right on the outside corner. Here's the 1-1. One's fouled back off the netting. 1-2. Sydney Marshall. We've said it pretty much every inning. Impressive outing she's having so far. But she just looks confident. She's been pounding the zone. Hasn't had any sort of command issues that we've kind of seen in the past. There's the 1-2. That one's line foul out of play.
Almost hit somebody in the fan section. Yeah, you have seen that maturity from Marshall. You have seen that consistency and just her ability to be calm. You know, the pitcher is kind of the quarterback in baseball, softball. Has to set the tone for the team.
Yeah, and pitchers, especially starting pitchers, have a lot more pressure on them in softball, considering there isn't a real kind of stamina worry, especially not as much as having baseball. So pitchers can, go whole games, even pitch back-to-back games, 100-plus pitches if they have to. You see that a lot in the softball World Series. So the better pitcher you are, the more experience you're going to get, regardless of your stamina, which isn't too much of a deal.
Right, because of the underhand pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're so close to 40 feet between the pitcher's circle and the batter's box and home plate.
Not as much of an issue.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Tig is retired. Sydney Marshall, 3 straight in order in the bottom of the 5th. Bowling Green holding on to their 1-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the 5th. And you're listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
Follow and engage with BG Falcon Media on social media. Find the handle @BG Falcon Media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube for all sorts of content, including news information, BGSU athletics coverage, and feature stories from across campus. Enjoy specialty content such as full episodes of the local music showcase, Live and Loud. The coverage continues with BG Falcon Media on all major social platforms.
BGSU softball takes on the Ohio Bobcats in a midweek action doubleheader on Tuesday, April 15th. Ben Korak and Henry Koska will be on the call starting at 12:45 p.m. with first pitch set for 1 o'clock on Falcon Radio.
Beautiful sunny day here on Senior Day at Messer Field. Bowling Green leads Western Michigan 1-0 as up steps Hannah Massaro for the Falcons in the bottom of the 5th.
Her orange helmet gleaming in the sun. She's holding that bat out almost in a bunt position, which is her signature.
Swing and a miss at strike 1. Good pitch by Sawyer right on the outside corner. Strike 1. Massaro struck out against Kaylee in her last at-bat in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, and we got to give Sawyer credit where it's due. She's been pitching a good game, only allowed 1 run, only allowed 4 hits, and she's been solid for the Broncos so far.
Yeah, I love those back-to-back hits to Martin and Hunt in the first that scored that 1 run, but ever since then she's only allowed 1 hit, otherwise knocked everyone out in order, including 2 strikeouts, one of which was to Massaro.
And it looks like because of how close the game is, got hit by the pitch there.
Almost on his way in the dirt. Almost a cricket pitch, bounced before it got to Smith there, the catcher.
I've never watched cricket. I hear it's an interesting sport.
It's kind of a bit more confusing version of baseball, in my opinion. Of course, I just say that because I'm not familiar with cricket.
Interesting.
There's 3-1 now to Massaro. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see. I wonder if Bowling Green, if they have a club cricket team, I don't believe that they do, but I would like to see cricket in collegiate athletics a little bit more. I think as Massaro takes ball 4 to lead off the bottom of the 5th.
I know it's a big sport internationally, like Pakistan, India, Great Britain, big British sport.
I know. I'm not sure if it's still like this, but I know some of the most followed people on Instagram, like ever, are cricket players, Indian cricket players.
Really?
So it's a humongous sport over there in the East.
Interesting.
There's Peyton Steffes. That one's inside. She attempts to bump, but pulls it back. Sacrifice is in play here with runner on first and nobody out. Steffes does like to make that move.
And this could be advantageous for Bowling Green if you get Steffes on base. You have 2 runners on base going to the top of the order, which would be a great spot for BG to be in.
That one's in there on the outside corner. 1-run lead is never safe, especially when Western Michigan still has 2 innings left.
No,
so you want to build on that lead if you're Bowling Green. Any chance that you get.
For sure.
Just a 1-1. Steph is showing bunt again, pulls back again, so 2-1.
And that's what's so cool about a 1-score lead and what makes it entertaining to watch if you're a fan. You know, it's never safe in any sport. So BG definitely looking to build on that here.
Pitch number 57 for Sawyer. That one's bunted but fouled right on top of the plate.
I do want to remind any new listeners we might have, in Game 1, Steph has had 2 at-bats, 1 hit, and 1 RBI. So she will be looking to continue that success here.
There's the 2-2 big at-bat for the Falcons. That one's outside. It's going to be a full count.
That one was way outside, too. Like, way outside.
And so you're trying to get Steffes to chase, utilizing her extra available ball. You
Big.
mentioned Game 1, Steffes 1 for 2 with 3 putouts. Swing and a miss. Sawyer got her on the high fastball, got her to chase, and Steffes was pretty behind it. Strikeout.
Yeah, and Sawyer being congratulated there by Tig. And you see the energy and the momentum sort of shifting to WMU's side, which is bad news for the Falcons.
Back to the top of the lineup, Taylor Barrett steps up still hitless. Lined out to right field in her first at-bat. Grounded out to short. That one's going to be in play to second base. Barrett's going to make it on the play as that's going to be an errant throw as well. Massaro's going to round third, and she will stay at the bag. Messy play there. Second baseman for Western Michigan, Annalise Niles, couldn't make the play. She had to rush because of Barrett's speed. Couldn't make the play initially. Had to pick it up twice, and then errant throw to Chumbley at first.
Yeah, that was a play that was much more reminiscent of Game 1, that error-ridden game for the Broncos, and they will be having a meeting on the mound as the Falcons meet with Gardner.
Addie Martin is the one who will be up to bat. So runners on first and third, 1 out. They're going to talk it over.
But there is a double play in the works for WMU, runners on the corners. So BG has to be careful here.
Yeah, Taylor Barrett, 6 stolen bases on the year. She's a threat on the base pass. You could potentially look at maybe a double steal if they decide to try to get Barrett out on her steal to second. We'll likely see that early in Martin's count. Try to get her in position and then see what Martin can do at the plate.
And Martin can do a lot at the plate. I mean, in Game 1, she was pretty successful. She had 3 at-bats. Or actually, no, my mistake. She did not have any runs or hits in Game 1, but she's Addie Martin, so I'm not worried about it.
2 for 2 so far in Game 2 and scored a run on Hunt's RBI double in the first. As Broncos retreat back to their positions, Kaylee Sawyer will step back into the circle, and runners on first and third. 1 out, big opportunity for the Falcons here in the bottom of the 5th. Martin showing bunt and pulls back on the first pitch as Barrett steals second with no opposition whatsoever from Jordan Smith.
You don't see Martin show a lot of bunts. That's interesting that she opted for that on that play.
Trying to do it there to kind of just get the runner over to second, most likely. And they're going to talk something over. It looks like Marley Wilson is out of the dugout talking to third base umpire Victor Sena.
Wonder what they're discussing.
Davis goes back to the dugout, maybe talking about if Barrett maybe left a bit early. Other than that, because remember, Heather Wolf was out on her play when they pinch ran her for Merrill. When Merrill got on base, Wolf was out on the base pass due to leaving the base too early. But Barrett will stay at second. That one's line. Oh. Is it going to stay fair? It will. Martin's line drive gets down, and that's going to score both Falcons. That she's going to round second and reach third with an RBI triple.
And she slides hands first, flashing the W to the dugout. Great play. I told you it's Addie Martin. There's nothing to worry about.
Honestly surprised that she got anything to hit on that at bat. Sawyer had the base open at first, and Martin makes them pay. It's going to be 3-0 Falcons.
Man, I hope she does not hit the transfer portal. That would be a tragedy for Bowling Green.
Hey, Martin, a pleasure to watch for any softball fan. Third triple of the year for her. And 31st and 32nd RBIs on that play.
Yeah, she's 5'5" from Dover, Ohio. They must make some real athletes in Dover.
Martin played for Beverly Bandits, known travel softball team around Ohio. They have about 6 or 7 branches all around the country in Ohio, California, Texas, Illinois. One of the premier travel teams in America. As it looks like we may be having a pitching change here for Western Michigan, and it's going to be Casey Fazzini coming in again for them. So we have a pitching change, and we will step aside for a quick minute. We'll be right back. You're listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
What is hope? Hope to me was just that he would get to come home. I had no idea how hard it would be once he got back.
I wish she'd stop drinking so much. She thinks it's helping, but it's not.
I act like I don't care if he comes to my games, but I hope he does.
I hoped he'd get help. He told me to stop asking. I didn't. Then one day he asked for a ride.
Hope is knowing there are other families just like yours, that the veterans they love got help and recovered. Go to maketheconnection.net and turn hope into action.
Ever wanted to hear what a BGSU coach or player says after a game? Head over to the BG Falcon Media YouTube channel to watch post-game press conferences for all BGSU home volleyball, soccer, football, hockey, and basketball games.
Pitching change for the Broncos. Casey Fazzini in for Sawyer. Threw 65 pitches on 4 1/3 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 runs. One of them was unearned. 3.23 game ERA on 5 hits and 2 walks allowed with 3 strikeouts. Fazzini pitched in game 1 through 2 innings of 1 earned ball. Hannah Hunt is up at the plate right now. She takes a ball low and outside for ball 1.
Yeah, she didn't do terrible in game 1, but it kind of wasn't her fault because they were kind of in a deep hole by the time she was put in. But going to be looking to keep this defense tight for the Broncos.
Hunt sits on the off speed and drills it into center field. Great anticipation and scores Addie Martin, making it a 4-0 lead for the Falcons.
Boom. Yeah, and Addie Martin having herself a day. Great hit there by Hannah Hunt.
Yeah, it's been Martin and Hunt, 3 hits, each for them, 6 combined across the day. That is all 6 hits for the Falcons.
Shortstop, number 12, Cameron Kaufman.
And here's Kaufman, who hit her first career homer in game 1, stepping up to the plate.
And swung on and fouled back. Kaufman walked in her first at-bat, struck out in her second. Still one out in this inning. Double play is in order with Hunt on first with a 4-0 lead. Green sitting pretty here in the bottom of the fifth.
And this would be a great confidence booster for the Falcons to be able to send the Broncos away scoreless on the day.
That one fouled back. It's going to make it an 0-2 count. Casey Fazzini, solid in her outing in Game 1. Did allow 2 hits and a run. The best stat line of any Bronco pitcher in that game.
Well, the other Bronco pitchers allowed a whole slate of home runs.
That one's lined in right field, and the catch will be made by the right fielder head. So 2 outs now. Good contact by Kaufman, just couldn't get it to land.
Yeah, and that was a bit of a weird angle on that ball. Sort of went right to Tristan Head there. And you see the WMU players kind of celebrating that play.
Casey Fazzini, 4.42 ERA on the year and 6 starts and 22 appearances, the most of any Bronco. Past the 70-inning mark now already on the season for her.
Yeah, she's been a good relief sort of inning eater for the Broncos.
Western Michigan has kind of struggled to find, that one pitcher that they can rely on so far this year. Fazzini has struggled at times, and then beyond her, it's Celia, who has an ERA over 5, and then beyond that, there's a lot of trouble for the Western Michigan pitching staff, which has been one of their, really main troubles this year, just finding consistent pitching game in and game out.
Yeah, definitely. And when your pitching struggles, that sort of translates to the whole team. I mean, to use the football metaphor again, if you have a quarterback room that struggles, that translates to the whole team. And so you want to get that pitching under control moving forward.
2-1 is outside, called a ball for Scarlett Anderson, so 3-1 is going to be the count.
We got some pitcher versus pitcher right here. Not typical to see Scarlett Anderson on base, but see what she can do.
Swing and a miss. Make it a full count. Scarlett Anderson with no batting gloves.
No batting gloves is impressive.
Nowadays, you see it. Seems like you see it less and less. The more you go on, you see it a lot less in softball than you do in baseball these days. That one's going to be called strike 3 on the outside corner. Great pitch by Casey Fazzini to catch Scarlett Anderson looking, but not before Bowling Green scores 3 in a productive bottom of the 5th inning. Your score is 4-0. Bowling Green leads Western Michigan here on Falcon Radio.
I'm BG News reporter Ava Thoman, and here's a look at this week's edition of the BG News. The celebration of graduates, recognizing communities. BGSU is putting on 4 celebrations of multicultural graduates. Find out who will be celebrated. ONMA Awards. BG Falcon Media swoops in and wins 5 awards. More about what it took to win 5 Ohio News Media Association awards. Tax day, refunds, and deductions. Want money? Graduating students have an opportunity to receive a tax refund. Find out how and more about filling out your taxes. Fanatics to host Eddie George Tailgate. Students have the opportunity to watch the team practice and meet head coach Eddie George. Read more about the event. Check out these stories and more in this week's edition of the BG News, now available on newsstands around the BGSU campus and the Bowling Green community.
Sydney Marshall in the circle once again for the top of the 6th. 2 innings to go for the Falcons if they want to hold on to their 4-0 lead. Up to bat for Western Michigan is the top of the lineup. Riley Dittmar steps in, the left fielder.
Yeah, and Dittmar has been, she's been pretty consistent, powerful for the Broncos. Oh, and that's fouled over the left field net.
Dittmar hit in .377 on the year. She's had a fantastic year, just all things considered, for Western Michigan.
Definitely. And she has 23 runs, 43 hits, 2 homers, and 12 RBI.
Senior out of Sterling, Illinois, attended Sterling High School, spent 2 years at Eastern Illinois as a Panther to begin her collegiate career. Had a 7-game history going before it ended last weekend against Buffalo.
Yeah, that's tough when you have a good hit streak and comes to a close.
Going to start a new one in this at-bat. 3-1 is the count from Marshall to Dittmar. That one's popped foul, and it looks like it's just going to get out of play. Martin tried to reach her glove over the fence, but I think the fence is a little too tall.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
So it'll be a full count to Dittmar. Sydney Marshall continues to cruise here this outing. They're about to get up near 70 pitches, so usage hasn't been too high so far in this game. And keeping the pitch count low.
Seems like she'll play the whole game at this rate.
That one's hit foul, so the full count stays alive. Dittmar reached on an error in the third and grounded out to short in the first. Still looking to get on base with her first hit of the game.
Yeah, and we see weather-wise, the clouds are pretty much all cleared. They're all bunched at the horizon. Very sunny. Probably the nicest day we've had in a few weeks.
Great day for softball. That one's grounded to Hannah Hunt, who can't quite make the play. Bounced out of her glove, and she had to rebound and took too much time, so Dittmar will reach. We'll see if that's an error or registered as a hit. It was pretty hard contact for Dittmar.
Yeah,
kind of mishandled by Hunt.
Barrett really had to reach for that at first base. Almost did a split a little bit to reach for that ball and reel it in.
That one will be registered as an infield hit. So Dittmar gets her first hit of Saturday, going 0 for 2 in game 1.
Tristan Head is up at the plate now.
Head made fantastic diving play a couple innings ago in right field. He's played some great outfield defense here in game 2 of this series.
Oh, that's going to hit the press box.
Oh, and sky high into the stands. Didn't quite make it to us, but right in the middle of a crowd of Falcon fans down there in the stands.
That'll be a nice keepsake for one of the kids.
Tristan Head, 1-1 is the count. Runner on first, nobody out. Bowling Green leads Western Michigan 4-0. BG was 6 hits. The game is that one's lined over the head of Cameron Kaufman and into the gap in left field. Runner's going to round second and reach third safely, and it's going to be a double for Head. And runners on second and third, nobody out. Sydney Marshall into a jam real quick.
Yeah, and this is shaping up to be an interesting final couple innings. Obviously, the Broncos running out of chances to tie it up, but 2 runs here would be a good start.
Sips, Jaden Merrill. So actually, excuse me, it's going to be a little bit of ahead of myself. Merrill's on deck. It's going to be Jordan Smith, the catcher, as Michelle Garner is going to come out to maybe take Sydney Marshall out of the game as in comes Morgan Beckham out of the dugout. So Marshall will hand the ball off to Beckham after a fantastic outing. 5 scoreless innings completed for Sydney Marshall, but we have a pitching change. Beckham, who threw 5 scoreless in game 1, comes back in to finish off game 2 on Saturday. You're listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
All over America, people are taking the National Radon Test. Have you? Answer true or false. Radon is a radioactive gas. True.
I didn't know that, no.
True or false. The Office of the Surgeon General recommends that all homes be tested for radon. True, your home should be tested. True or false, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer. True.
I'm going to dial the number and call.
1-800-SOS-RADON.
Keep your family safe from radon. Call now.
1-800-SOS-RADON.
Bowling Green women's tennis goes on the road for a match in Ypsilanti, Michigan against the Eagles of Eastern Michigan. Falcon Media Sports Network sponsor Rostai will have a recap on bgfalconmedia.com.
Welcome back to Messer Field. Morgan Beckham in the game for the Falcons after Sydney Marshall exits after 5 scoreless innings, 4 hits allowed, and 3 strikeouts on 77 pitches. Great outing for the freshman pitcher.
Yeah, she had a fantastic few innings there. Got some applause as she was walking to the dugout.
Beckham's initial delivery is extremely high to the catcher, Jordan Smith. So runners on second and third, nobody out. Marshall leaves Beckham with a bit of a jam. Her score is 4-0, so BG has a bit of padding in this top of the 6th.
Yeah, and this is a tough position for BG to be in. You got obviously 2 runners on base, wanting to get out of this inning unscathed, ideally, to hopefully just close this one out.
That one's high and outside for ball 2. Beckham, 5 scoreless in game 1 today. The 8-0 win for Bowling Green. Also had a short outing in game 1 of the series on Friday, where she was also scoreless.
And it's starting to heat up a little bit out here as we wear into the afternoon. Your current time is 4:36 as we wind toward the evening here.
Here's the 3-0. That one's going to be high. Morgan Beckham needs to keep that command. They was so good about it in game 1.
And now we got bases loaded for the Broncos. This is a big deal. This is a big-time situation for the Falcons to try to defend.
Walking Smith, not the worst outcome in the world, as she's going to get pinch ran for. That's Parker Ostak, freshman out of Commerce, Michigan, attended Lakeland High School. She's going to come in and pinch run for the catcher.
And that's the thing with a pinch runner. You know she's going to be fast.
Yeah, Parker Ostash, first team All-State, 2023 Metro Detroit softball dream team. Pretty good resume coming out of high school.
Yeah, that is a pretty good resume.
That one's hit foul, but good contact by Merrill. Steps up with the bases loaded, nobody out. Double play is in order here, and Smith, who got the walk, I mentioned maybe it wouldn't be the worst outcome in the world. Merrill, a 257 average compared to Smith's 278. So a bit less of an offensive threat that you want to pitch to. Here's the 0-1 delivery by Beckham. And another foul ball down the third base line. Merrill a little early, and she's down 0-2.
And this is a good position for Beckham to be in here on an 0-2 count. Hopefully just trying to get the out and move this inning forward, because it looks like the Broncos are gonna end up doing some damage.
Merrill reached on an error in the second inning and popped out to right field in the 4th. Here's the 0-2. One's going to be high and outside. Good take by Merrill. Good pitch by Beckham, just a little bit outside.
Yeah, that was one of those where it sort of could have gone either way.
Try to get her to chase on the high and outside fastball. Maybe try to change her field of vision, go down on the off speed here. We'll see what happens on the 1-2. High swing and a miss. Strike 3, Merrill. Can't catch up to it. And that's a big strikeout for Beckham. Bases loaded, 1 out compared to bases loaded, nobody out is a big difference.
Yes, that is a huge, huge difference. Great play there by Beckham.
So double play, that is in order at, either second or third would end the inning if it happens now.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out here.
Senior Peyton Kelly steps up as she takes strike 1, the senior veteran player for his Western Michigan Broncos out of Chino Hills, California. Spent year 1 at Cal State Fullerton, but spent 3 years with Western since, and hit over 300 in all 3 of those years.
Wow.
Grounded to Addie Martin. She's going to go home with it, and McKee makes the play, digs it out of the dirt, and gets the force out. So BG holds on to that scoreless outing with a great play by Addie Martin.
Yeah, that was great awareness by Martin to go for the runner who was approaching home first, and that was a good catch by McKee. Now, it's interesting, Morgan Beckham's from Middleburg, Florida. Not sure what part of Florida that's in, but probably misses the weather of the Sunshine State.
Yeah, more comfortable in this type of sunny weather than what we normally get in Bowling Green. If you're scoring at home, Addie's play is a fielder's choice 5-2. So it's going to be a 1-0 count now to Niles, who is kind of the last hope for Western Michigan with this bases loaded jam that Beckham was in. That one's going to be fouled back, 1-1.
Yeah, it would be a shame for the Broncos to leave all 3 runners on base here.
I mean, just talk about confidence. Beckham just coming in and getting those 2 outs immediately. You can tell she is really playing extremely well right now and throwing at a high level.
Yeah, she's playing well and she knows it, which is a good thing for a pitcher to have.
That one's popped up in the infield. Hannah Hunt under it, and the Falcons get out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam. Morgan Beckham with an outstanding pitching performance as high fives all around from head coach Michelle Gardner. As we're done with the top of the 6th, into the bottom of the 6th, 4-0 Bowling Green leads Western Michigan here on Falcon Radio.
NHL star Matt Martin for American Humane.
I've had my fair share of bruises and injuries, but for many who put their lives on the line every day, it's not always the injuries you can see that hurt the most. Every single day, 184 veterans are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress. When medications and therapy don't help, professionally trained service dogs can. American Humane has created a free guide to help veterans obtain these life-saving animals. For help, please go to americanhumane.org.
Looking for a BGSU Athletics talk radio show? Tune into the Zig Zone every Sunday at 4 p.m., where a panel of Falcon Media Sports Network members discuss the hottest BG sports topics. Only on WBGU 88.1 FM.
Welcome back to Meserve Field, where Vizzini comes out for her 2nd inning of work for the Broncos after Morgan Beckham gets the Falcons out of a bases-loaded nobody out jam.
Yeah, that was an incredible play, by the Bowling Green defense to get out of that jam. Missed opportunity for Western Michigan trying to put points on the board.
Yeah, can't score runs if you don't get them in situations like that. With bases loaded, nobody out. Addie Martin, a lot of credit for great heads-up play to get the runner out at home and keep even 1 run from scoring in that inning.
Yeah, that was a great situational awareness play by Martin.
Vizzini will deal to the freshman Ava McKee, who's 0 for 2 on the day. And McKee will take ball 1 outside.
Yeah, Vizzini seems to like that low outside ball. See if she uses it again here.
Likes to spot the off speed right there on that corner. Kind of goes back to it again, but a little bit low, so it'll be ball 2.
Ball 2. And looking over at the tennis courts, you see a few people playing tennis today, taking advantage of the nice weather.
I see some pickleball going on over there. That one's going to be lined right to Tig, who is going to make the nice play as first baseman Chumley points to Tig and a range over to her left and catch a pretty nice, well-hit line drive by McKee.
Yeah. My money's on Tig for defensive MVP for the Broncos today. She's been making plays everywhere, making plays at the third base line, making plays in the infield, outfield. She's been great for the Broncos today.
Yeah, especially in this game. We've been saying her name a ton. Had a lot of hits directed her way. And perfect so far in game 2 on Saturday.
Definitely. Now that the sun's out, the yellow uniforms are actually growing on me a little bit.
You know, it's unique. I give anything extra points when you try something different, and a brown and yellow combination color scheme is definitely different. I'll give you maybe a couple dollars if you can name me another NCAA team that has a brown and yellow color scheme, because I don't think I can.
Ooh, I'm going to be thinking about that for the next couple minutes here.
Swing and a miss by Kendall Matthews for strike 1. There's a couple like Lehigh, St. Bonaventure that are brown and white or brown and silver or brown and gold, but there's not really like anything that
St. Bonaventure, that's a deep pull right there.
Yeah, Atlantic 10 squad Of course, Adrian Wojnarowski, general manager of St. Bonaventure men's basketball now, the former ESPN NBA reporter. 2-2 to Kendall Matthews with one out in the bottom of the sixth. That one swung on and fouled back. Almost caught the light pole. We've had two of those that have caught that same light pole just behind the WME dugout today. That one was pretty close.
Yeah, that would have been the third one to hit that light pole today, which is kind of crazy.
Here's the 2-2 again. That one's outside, so full count. And Fazzini putting in the work here against Matthews. Western Michigan just only going to have one more opportunity to score some runs here coming up in the top of the seventh. And with the way Morgan Beckham has pitched today and, past couple of weeks in general, that's going to be a tough task.
Ooh.
That one's grounded to Booth at third base. She'll take a crow hop and make the throw to Chumley and get the out. So 2 down for the Broncos.
And Matthews is retired there.
Good play by Booth. And Massaro will step up. She walked in the 5th inning.
Booth is from Allen, Texas, which I wonder which part of the state that is in.
Allen High School, which she graduated from, is a known, amazingly athletic high school. Some of those high schools in Texas, they get all the funding for some of those athletics departments. If you've ever seen some of those Texas high school football stadiums, they're bigger than even some small D1 schools that you get up here.
For sure. Texas high school is built different.
Our very own Reese Landon, who formerly called baseball games for us here at Falcon Media Sports Network, is working down there at Tyler High School in Tyler, Texas, calling play-by-play for all sorts of high school sports.
Good for him. That's a cool job.
That one grounded up the middle, and Hannah Massaro will reach base with a hit. Falcons continue a great streak of, just hits.
Yeah, and that ball just threaded the needle right through the defenders straight to the outfield. That was a good play there.
4th inning now out of 6 that the Falcons have earned at least a hit. And, just the offensive resurgence in this on Saturday, today, all things, the 8-0 win in Game 1 and now 7 hits in Game 2 are very promising to see for a Falcon offense that struggled in the past week.
Yeah, it's definitely promising to see the improvement and to see the resurgence, and it's something that you hope continues as we hope to make this playoff push.
Pinch hit coming in for the Falcons. Peyton Steffes will step aside, and Katie Hutter will step up. The typical leadoff hitter, kind of got the weekend off here from Gardner, and she'll pinch hit here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th.
It's good to see her back in the lineup again, even if it is only briefly.
Takes strike 1, hitting .269 with a .795 OPS on the year, 14 RBIs and 2 home runs.
Hutter is from Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania, a town that I'm quite familiar with as a Pennsylvania boy myself. Pretty cool to see that.
Is it Mount Pleasant?
What?
Is that what you said? You said Mount Pleasant?
Yeah, Mount Pleasant.
Just like Mount Pleasant, Michigan, home of Central Michigan.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Indeed.
That one's lined over the head of Tig and into the gap in left center field. Massaro will round second and reach third without a throw, and Katie Hutter pinch hit.
Wow.
Double.
That's how you pinch hit right there. That was a great play right over the head of Tig, Tig's been making plays all day, so it was kind of risky to direct it toward Tig, but wow, what a play.
Hutter will go back to the dugout after Steffes will come back in and pinch run after Hutter gets on base for her at her spot.
Smart idea to have Steffes pinch run, man. She is lightning.
That's really great for Katie Hutter, though, because 0 for 8 in the NIU series, she was having a bit of a rough go over the past couple of weeks, and getting her back in for the opportunity, and she immediately capitalizes on it, gets that double, which will boost her confidence for sure.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
That one's low and outside to Taylor Barrett. Runners on second and third, 2 out. Barrett still hitless today, 0 for 3 in Game 1 and 0 for 3 in Game 2, although she did reach on an error and score in the 5th inning.
Yeah, she'll be looking to boost her production a bit here, meeting with Michelle Gardner, currently discussing something. And we're taking a brief break. It seems like most of the music is country music during these breaks.
Yeah, I know you're a big country music fan, Kevin, as Marley Wilson came out to talk to her pitcher and heads back to the dugout now. Second year head coach, second year with WMU, 27 wins, 16 MAC wins in 2024, program record for most wins by a WMU first-year head coach. Former player, second-team All-MAC player at that for WMU from 2014 to 2018, and spent 2 seasons as an assistant coach for Dayton Flyers before heading up to Kalamazoo.
Wow, that's great to see the dedication to the Midwest, staying in the Midwest, and then building up the next generation within the Midwest.
It's always fun when you get former players who come back and head coach their squad that they played for. Always get that kind of added motivation to give that success to your program.
Yeah, and it's a full circle moment, and to think that maybe one of the players we're watching right now might be a head coach 15, 20 years down the line.
Yeah, you never know. Taylor Barrett, 1-2 count. Here's the pitch from Fazzini. Swung on and grounded to Fazzini at the pitcher spot, and that one's thrown over to Chumbley, and the play is made. So Falcons go scoreless in the bottom of the 6th, but Morgan Beckham will come out to give Falcons the sweep in the Saturday doubleheader, and you are listening to BGSU Softball on Falcon Radio.
BGSU women's golfer Sammy Dulce is Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week. Recently, the sophomore finished second at the Dolores Black Falcon Invitational. She shot a 69 in the final round, the tournament's lowest single round score. Following the match, head coach Aaron Fahey said, "Sammy had a great weekend for us. She always shows up and gives us an under par round when we need it." The Florida Park, New Jersey native jumped up 6 places in the standings after her stellar final round. This has been Falcon Media Sports Network's Athlete of the Week.
For nothing is the Falcons' lead as they have 3 more outs to get before they will have achieved a sweep of this Saturday doubleheader, taking 2 of 3 from the Broncos. Again, if this score holds, it's 4-0 at the top of the 7th. Michaela Booth steps in for the first at-bat. It will be Booth, Chumbley, and Tig, the bottom of the lineup for Western Michigan. 6th inning was really their best chance they've had pretty much all day, including game 1 of getting any sort of runs. Bases loaded, nobody out before Morgan Beckham came in and shut them down.
Yeah, and this is a position you don't want to be in, having the bottom of the order going in for this situation.
Yeah, top of the lineup, I mentioned already, hit in the 6th inning where they got that offensive production. Dittmar and Head got a single and a double each. Smith walked, but Merrill struck out, and then a 5-2 fielder's choice by Kelly and a pop fly to second base by Niles got Beckham out of that inning.
Yeah, and Booth has been decent, hitting .268 on the year. Oh,
Booth grounds it to Kaufman,
no.
Who jumbles within. She's not able to make the play, and Booth will reach base, so leadoff runner on for Western.
Yeah, that's about as good as it could have started for Western, getting a runner in position and hopefully getting back to the top of the order and scoring would be the Broncos' hope.
3rd error on the day for the Falcons as Kaufman not quite able to make the play on the grounder. So 1 on, nobody out. As Beckham and Arn exchange words, they're going to have maybe corner infielders in. Watch out for the sacrifice with this at-bat. Although with 4 runs to make up, you might not want to just give away an out just like that.
Yeah, probably not. You're trying to get back to the top of the order here. Get some power hitters in there.
Swing and a miss by Floyd's Knobs, Indiana native, Riley Chumbley.
Floyd's Knobs. I wonder if there was a guy named Floyd and
Well, I think there was because
he
she
found some
attended
knobs.
Floyd Central High School.
Hmm.
Someone named Floyd lived around there in Indiana.
Interesting.
Swing and a miss by Chumbley. 0-2 is the count. Back in the head.
And you see Beckham really has some swagger. She has some confidence here, and she knows what she's doing, which is great to see, especially from a freshman.
She's been dotting that high fastball. Got the swing and the miss on the 0-1 and goes back to it on that pitch, but fouled back by Chumbley.
And so Chumbley stays alive here. No balls yet, only strikes. Hoping to get some sort of action going here.
Here's the 0-2. Beckham looks at her sleeve and delivers. Outside. Chumbley didn't chase.
Smart play there by Chumbley.
Keep in mind, we'll be sticking here just coming up on Tuesday. Doubleheader for the Falcons against Ohio, second-ranked team in the MAC. One's doubleheader, game 1 starting at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, and then game 2 shortly after.
That'll be an interesting series. It'll be telling about the Falcons' development as they play one of the best teams in the MAC.
As far as Falcon Media content, you expect a preview of that one out on Monday or Tuesday morning, and then recaps and social media live updates out as well. And our broadcast will be myself and Ben Korek on that one on either Falcon Media, on Falcon Radio or WBGU. That one skied high for Ava McKee behind home plate, and the play is made out number 1 for Morgan Beckham.
Lost her helmet on that play, or maybe threw it away intentionally, but still managed to make the play, Ava McKee.
P2, and Tig will step up to the plate. It looks like it's going to be a pinch hitter for Western Michigan.
Kaylee O'Connor, the pitcher.
Now the senior from San Bruno, California, coming in to pinch hit. See what she can do in this spot.
She was from St. Mary's, California College.
1 hit in 10 at-bats so far this year, hitting 100 with a 191 OPS. 23 appearances and 7 starts.
Should be interesting to see what she does here. Last chance for the Broncos.
Owen skied out of play. 1-1 will be the count. Beckham absolutely locked in the circle right now.
While she has her eyes on the prize, she sees what would be a win for the Orange and Brown and a series win for the Orange and Brown, which is going to be a big deal in those MAC standings.
Would be the 15th overall win and the 7th conference win of the season for the Falcons. One's outside for ball 2.
And we will see how O'Connor does on the offensive end, see if she can produce something here.
Here's the 2-1. Popped up right to Kaufman at shortstop. Will be a can of corn and 2 down for the Falcons, 1 out away from the Saturday sweep.
Wow. And this would be a big moment for the Falcons, outscoring the Broncos 12-0, and coming away with the series win would be a big, big deal for BG. Here comes number 27, Riley Dittmar, as we reapproach the top of the order.
This might be considered an upset if you look at preseason poll numbers. Western Michigan predicted to just sneak into the MAC softball tournament at the 6th seed. Bowling Green obviously predicted 11th with only 13 points compared to Buffalo's 20, which was 10th. So Bowling Green obviously overachieving as far as what they were predicted with this season, and getting a win over, a series win over the Western Michigan Broncos would be a big deal. This one is skied high to right field. Steffes under it, and she will make the play, and Bowling Green sweeps Western Michigan on Saturday, takes 2 of 3 from the Broncos in a home series here at Messer Field. 4-0 is your final score as the Falcons celebrate for the final time this weekend.
Yeah, and the crowd here, energetic, excited. Everybody cheered when Steffes made that catch. And what a day for the Falcons. What a day for momentum And what a day for getting back in the mix in those MAC standings.
How about these Falcon pitchers? Morgan Beckham, 5 scoreless in Game 1, and then Morgan Beckham 2 more scoreless to end out Game 2. And Sydney Marshall, can't forget about the awesome performance that she had. 5 innings pitched of no runs allowed in general for the Falcons on Saturday. So fantastic defensive performance, and offense really got going when they needed it to.
Yeah, and those home runs in Game 1 were really excellent. But I love that you mentioned Marshall because she just played lights out for those 5 innings, got plenty of applause when she went to the dugout. 0 runs allowed. Oh, and here comes the chant.
And the Falcons going to do the BGSU chant with these full crowd.
Great to see the energy.
And as far as offense for these Falcons, it was Addie Martin and Hannah Hunt who got 6 of the 8 Falcon hits in this game. Martin with 2 RBIs and Hunt with 2 as well. Massaro with a hit, and Katie Hutter with that pinch hit double. She got on the board as well.
Yeah, it was great to see the multitude of scoring for the Falcons, and just great to hold the other team to 0 from a psychology perspective, from a mentality perspective. Holding the other team scoreless has got to feel great for these Falcons.
Yeah, only 4 hits allowed in this game. For these Falcons, only 2 hits allowed in Game 2 of the series, so 6 hits allowed across the day, and again, a fantastic pitching performance from these Falcons. You can expect to see them again. Doubleheader coming up on Tuesday against those Ohio Bobcats. Like I mentioned, that will be either on Falcon Radio or on WBGU 88.1 FM. Make sure to check out Falcon Media Sports Network, our X page /BG_FMSN for updates and confirmation on where that game will be held. As far as Falcon Media Sports Network content coming up here next couple of weeks, Falcon Media Sports Network has a big part in hosting and covering the annual Ziggies, BGSU Athletics Yearly Awards. We will have all kinds of content leading up to that event coming out this next week, and then we'll be covering the event full time on Wednesday night in about a week and a half when that event happens. I have some thank yous to give out before we head off the air here for the final time on Saturday. Firstly, Nate Hinners, our board operator, who sits through 5 hours there in the Falcon radio booth to put us on air, and can't thank him enough for taking the time out of his Saturday afternoon to broadcast us out onto the airwaves. I'd also like to thank Lucas Kleinmeyer, our sports content director, for letting us use this brand new Comrex that we got this year that he typically uses for women's basketball, but we got to use it today, so great thanks to him for doing that and allowing us the privilege to broadcast these games here on the radio for Falcon Media Sports Network. That'll do it for us. I am Henry Costco, and I'm here with Kevin Hutchinson, and we will see you on Tuesday when BGSU softball takes on OU for a doubleheader starting at 1 p.m. First pitch.
All right, see you guys then. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
This broadcast has been a Falcon Media Sports Network production. For more BGSU sports news and updates, follow Falcon Media Sports Network on Twitter X at BG_FMSN, BG Falcon Media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and head over to BGFalconMedia.com.